Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, Prayers by the Demigods to Lord Krishna within the womb of Mother Devaki. Text number 41. Dishtya Amba Te Kukshi Gataha Paraha Puman Dishtyambate Kukshigata Parapuman Amshena Sakshan Bhagavan Bhavaya Naha Amshena Sakshat Bhagavan Bhavaya Naha Ma Ma Abhud Bhayam Bhoja Pater Mumurshor Ma Bhud Bhayam Ma Bhud Bhayam Bhoja Pater Mumurshor Gopta Yaduna Bhavita Tava Atmajaha Gopta Yadunam Bhavita Tavatmajaha Dishtyambate Kukshigata Parapuman Amshena Sakshat Bhagavan Bhavaya Naha Ma Bhut Bhayam Bhojapater Mumurshor Gopta Yadunam Bhavita Tavatmajaha Dishtyambate Kukshigata Parapuman Amshena Sakshat Bhagavan Bhavaya Naha Abhudbhayam Bhojapater Mumurshor Gopta Yadunam Bhavita Tavatmajaha Dishtyambate Kukshigata Parapuman Shena Sakshat Bhagavan Bhavaya Naha Abhudbhayam Bhojapater Mumurshor Gopta Yadunam Bhavita Tavatmajaha Dishtyambate Kukshigata Parapuman Shena Sakshat Bhagavan Bhavaya Naha Abhudbhayam Bhojapater Mumurshor Gopta Yadunam Bhavita Tavatmajaha Dishtya. By fortune, Amba, O mother, te, your, Kukshigataha, in the womb, Paraha, the supreme, Puman, personality of Godhead, Amshena, with all his energies, his parts and parcels, Sakshat, directly, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhavaya, for the auspiciousness, Naha, of all of us, Ma Abhut, never be, Bhayam, fearful, Bhojapate, from Kamsa, king of the Bhoja dynasty, Mumursho, who has decided to be killed by the Lord, Gopta, the protector, Yaduna, of the Yadu dynasty, Bhavita, will become Tava Atmajaha, your son. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. O Mother Devaki, by your good fortune and ours, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, with all His plenary portions, such as Baladeva, is now within your womb. Therefore, you need not fear Kamsa, who has decided to be killed by the Lord. Your eternal son Krishna will be the protector of the entire Yadu dynasty. Please repeat this translation. O Mother Devaki, by your good fortune and ours, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, with all His plenary portions, such as Baladeva, is now within your womb. Therefore, you need not fear Kamsa, who has decided to be killed by the Lord. Your eternal son Krishna will be the protector of the entire Yadu dynasty. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The words Paraf Puman Amshena signify that Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the verdict of the Shastra. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Thus the demigods assured Devaki, your son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is appearing with Baladeva, his plenary portion. He will give you all protection and kill Kamsa, who has decided to continue his enmity toward the Lord and thus be killed by him. I'll read the next verse. That's the last verse of this chapter, text 42. Shri Shuka Vacha Ityabhishtuya Purusham Yadrupam Anidam Yatha Brahmeshanau Purodhaya Deva Pratiyayor Divam. Translation. After thus offering prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the Transcendence, all the demigods with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva before them returned to their homes in the heavenly planets. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is said, Adyapiha Chaitanya Esaba Dilakare Yar Bhagye Thake Se Dekhaye Hirantare. The incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear continuously like the waves of a river or an ocean. There is no limit to the Lord's incarnations, but they can be perceived only by devotees who are fortunate. The Devatas, the demigods, fortunately understood the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus they offered their prayers. Then Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma led the demigods in returning to their homes. The word Kukshigataha, meaning within the womb of Devaki, has been discussed by Sri Jiva Goswami in his Krama Sandarbha commentary. Since it was said at first that Krishna was present in the heart of Vasudeva and was transferred to the heart of Devaki, Sri Jiva Goswami writes, how is it that Krishna was now in the womb? He replies that there is no contradiction. From the heart, the Lord can go to the womb, or from the womb, he can go to the heart. Indeed, he can go or stay anywhere. As confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 5.35, Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The Lord can stay wherever he likes. Devaki, therefore, in accordance with the desire of her former life, now had the opportunity to seek the benediction of having the Supreme Personality of Godhead as her son Devaki Nandana. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 10th canto, 2nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Prayers by the Demigods for Lord Krishna in the Womb. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurava Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is the last prayer by the Devatas. In this prayer, they are actually reassuring Mother Devaki, who is very afraid of Kamsa, that by your good fortune and ours, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, with all His plenary portions such as Baladeva, is now within your womb. It is important to understand that Krishna did not take birth as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki by their combining together in sexual intercourse. No. Krishna entered the heart of Vasudeva, and from the heart of Vasudeva, he transferred himself to the heart of Devaki. And how did he transfer? By Vasudeva initiating Devaki Diksha. And from the heart of Devaki, he entered the womb of Devaki. Again, he transferred himself from the heart of Devaki to the womb of Devaki. Therefore, here the word used is Kukshigataha. Kukshigataha means in the womb, one who has entered the womb. Who has entered the womb? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shena Sakshat Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And he has entered not only alone, he has entered with all his energies and all his parts and parcels. The Lord is one person, and he is appearing as a small child, but he is the complete Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means he is with always. He is always with all his energies, all his opulences, all his wealth, all his parts and parcels, all the living entities. He is always with them. He is never without his energy. He is never without his parts and parcels. He is never without his expansions. This is inconceivable for us. We always see at least we see people as separate persons, and they are individual souls. Every person is an individual soul. And no two souls are the same. Not the same means they are not one person, they are two persons. Two distinctly individual, different persons. But Krishna, see the speciality of Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has got his individuality. Just like we are all individual persons, Krishna is also an individual person. So that is the commonality between us and Krishna. We are individual persons. Krishna is also an individual person. We are spirit soul. Krishna is also spirit soul. But we have got a material body. Krishna does not have a material body. Krishna never has or accepts a material body. Krishna always has his spiritual body. We don't say body, we say spiritual form. Spiritual form. Satchidananda Vigraha. Spiritual form. Yeah. And Krishna is not just a spirit soul, he is the supreme spirit soul. We are Atma, Krishna is Paramatma. We are Brahman, Krishna is Parabrahman. We are Anu Atma, Krishna is Vibhu Atma. Anu means we are very, very tiny, limited. Krishna is unlimited. Krishna is unlimited soul, unlimited person. So we may have some opulence, some wealth, but Krishna has unlimited wealth. Now, unlimited also is described in the Shastra. Aishwaryasya samagrasya. Aishwarya means wealth. Aishwaryasya samagrasya. Samagra means the sum total of all the wealth actually belongs to whom? To Krishna. It is Krishna's wealth. So whatever wealth you may have, that belongs to Krishna. Whatever wealth I have belongs to Krishna. Whatever wealth anyone has, all that belongs to Krishna only. All that belongs to Krishna. It is just like to give a simple example. Let's take a family. Let's say in the family, one person, the head of the family, the father, he earns and he supports and maintains the entire family. Now, his children or his wife or anybody else in the family may have some money with them. But whose money is it? It all belongs to the father, the head of the family. So you can say in the family, at least in the Vedic conception, the head of the family is actually the possessor, owner, controller of all the wealth in every family member's hand. Whatever property he has, okay? Now, the property may be, lying in different places, might have been leased out to different people, but everything is his property. So like that, we can understand Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. He is the owner, controller, enjoyer of all the wealth, of all the strength, all the beauty. Everything is Krishna's. So this conception of God has to be carefully understood. Otherwise, we'll always think Krishna is another person like us. So therefore, the Devatas, they have understood that Devaki has become pregnant for the 8th time, not like the pregnancies of the first 6 times. No. The first 6 times, Devaki became pregnant like generally a father and mother conceive a child. But the 8th time, the 7th time and the 8th time, the Supreme Personality of Godhead entered the womb of Devaki through initiation, through spiritual process, not through the material process. So, the Devatas have recognized that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, with all his parts and parcels, with his expansions, like Baladeva, has entered the womb of Devaki, is now within the womb of Devaki. And they are telling that don't be afraid of Kamsa. Why? Because Devaki naturally, she had lost her first 6 sons. Because Kamsa killed each of them. As soon as they were born, they were killed. So Devaki is, and naturally, mother will be very, very anxious to protect her child. It's very natural. So Devaki is very afraid Kamsa should not kill my child. So the Devatas are reassuring Devaki, don't be afraid. Why? Because the Supreme Lord has entered your womb. And he is going to kill this Kamsa and protect you. Not only you, the whole Yadu dynasty. Not only the whole Yadu dynasty, but the entire world. Everyone is going to be protected by the Supreme Lord when he has appeared as your son. Tava Atmaja. So Devaki is so fortunate, so blessed that she is carrying within her womb the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who can carry the Lord within one's womb? Who can have the Lord as their son? Nobody can. In fact, the Lord is the father of everybody. God doesn't have a father in that sense. But for his Leela pastimes, he accepts his devotee as his father, Vasudeva, Nandamara. He accepts his another devotee, Devaki, as his mother, just for the sake of his pastimes, his Leela. That is already mentioned by the Devatas in a previous verse. Your appearance is your pastime. Because for the sake of killing the demons, for the sake of establishing dharma, for all these purposes, the Lord need not personally come. Krishna need not personally come. Whatever dharma has to be explained, has to be taught, whatever dharma has to be explained, it's already given by the Lord in the form of the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Puranas. Whatever protection has to be given, that protection is already there by the very creation of this world in such a way that there is always protection for the faithful, for the divine nature. And there is always the arrangement for destroying the demons, killing the demons. So Lord need not appear. He's got his agents. Just like one cyclone millions of demons can be killed immediately, instantaneously, in front of the fury of material nature. No demon can withstand it with all his might or power or his yoga siddhi. With all that, nobody can withstand that. So, material nature is one of the energies of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So, material nature is directed by Krishna, and simply by his will, his direction, the material nature can finish off any number of kamsas. Then why does the Lord appear? He appears to reassure his devotees that I am your protector. I will protect you. I am always protecting you. You have no need to fear these demons. You have no need to fear these demons. So the Devatas are reassuring Mother Devaki. Now, Devaki herself as a devotee, now before Krishna appeared as the son of Devaki, Devaki and Vasudeva in their previous lives, they are always devotees. They're eternal devotees. So they prayed to the Supreme Lord that we want to have you as our son. Of course, they asked for a son like the Supreme Lord. Want to have a son like you. But Krishna said, nobody's like me. Krishna is the unique, only Supreme Lord. Everybody else is not the Lord. Everybody else is his part and parcel. So Krishna said, if you want a son like me, I myself have to appear as your son. And because they are devotees, Krishna is pleased with his devotees. So he said, I will appear as your son. So 3 times Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. And as Krishna is appearing the 3rd time as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. So therefore it is said here that Amshena Sakshat Bhagavan. Krishna has appeared, has entered the womb of Devaki along with all his expansions, all his plenary portions. Now, elsewhere, Prabhupada explains that when Krishna appears in this world, he appears along with all his expansions also. So, the explanation is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord in this material world originally emanates from Mahavishnu. The whole creation begins by Mahavishnu entering, incarnating, means coming to this world, material world, and entering the material energy. And then Mahavishnu glances over the material energy and begins the process of creation. Then after that, so many universes come out of his body as bubbles in an ocean. So he's lying down on the causal ocean and breathing. So when he breathes out, naturally, when some air is moving the water, suddenly some bubbles will appear. So like that, the universes appear as bubbles in the causal ocean. Very, very tiny. Millions and billions and trillions of them. And each of those seed-like, they're like the seed, a tiny seed of a banyan tree. Like that, the universes are very, 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 very small. So into that seed-like universe, Mahavishnu himself enters as Garbhodakshai Vishnu And then the universe starts growing, becoming big. And how big it becomes? 4 billion miles in diameter. Like this universe of ours is 4 billion miles in diameter. It becomes so big. And into that universe into which Mahavishnu has entered in another form, another expansion, Garbhodakashai Vishnu, Padmanabha Vishnu. He is Padmanabha. So then he does the further creation, and then Brahma is born. And after Brahma has taken birth, Brahma has to do the secondary creation. But for Brahma to create, he will create the different other living beings. But for Brahma to create, where is the place for them to stay? The residence. So, Garbhodakshai Vishnu as the Virat Purusha, in his universal form, he actually creates he generates, doesn't create, using the material energy, he generates the different planets. On the planets, the hills, the mountains, the oceans, the air, the sky, everything he generates. And then each of those elements and the places become the place of residence for all the living entities who will be created by Brahma. Just like this Earth planet. It is one planet among millions of planets. But on this Earth planet, there are diversity of places. And in each place, it is suitable for a particular category of living beings. Aquatics are taking birth, living completely in the water bodies, in the ocean or the rivers, or the lakes or the ponds or the wells of water. Then there are plants which are taking shelter of the earth itself, the ground. And then within the ground, there are so many microbes which are born there, live there, they subsist on whatever is available there. Like that, the diversity is due to the Virat Rupa of the Supreme Lord. Garbhodakshai Vishnu's another form is that universal form, Virat Purusha. He is called the Purusha, Virat Purusha. How big is he? He is the whole universe itself. The whole universe itself, with all the diversity. That is also a form of the Padmanabha Vishnu. So, he creates this diversity, and then Brahma is born, and Brahma creates or gives birth or generates all the living beings with their bodies. So, this whole thing, the way the material creation takes place, the incarnations also come from the Vishnu, who is the maintainer, Kshirodakshai Vishnu. After the creation is complete, the maintenance is taken charge again by Vishnu himself. He does not entrust maintenance to anybody else. He himself takes charge as the maintainer Vishnu, the third Vishnu. So these three Vishnus are Krishna's expansions. Now, any other incarnation other than these three Vishnus, they are all incarnations of the Supreme Lord in this material world. These are the first three incarnations. But after that, time to time, the Lord appears for the sake of his Leela pastimes. Vamana, Narsimha, Varaha, Krishna, Rama. All these are incarnations for the sake of
pastimes. Incarnation is avatara. So they call Leela Avatara. Actually, Vishnu also is Leela Avatara. Because the actual work of creation is entrusted to the energy of the Lord. Personally, the Lord doesn't have to do anything. Everything is carried out by his energies. Paras Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. Swabhaviki Jnana Balakriya Cha. Swabhaviki. It's very naturally, very automatically, by arrangement. It happens through the energies of the Lord. So he doesn't have to create. He doesn't have to, even maintenance is taken care of by his energies. But he appears to be like the creator who initiates the creation as Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. And he appears like the maintainer as Kshirodakshayi Vishnu, maintainer Vishnu. He appears to be the destroyer as Sankarshana, at the bottom of the whole universe. All these universes are resting on the different hoods of Sankarshana as small mustard seeds. Does he feel very heavy? This gigantic universes, each universe with millions of planets, each planet with millions of living entities, is simply resting on each of the hoods of Anantasesha, Sankarshana. So on his hood, gigantic hood, this universe itself is like a mustard seed. Supposing I put one mustard seed on your head, an adult, will you feel the weight? No, not at all. It's very insignificant. Like that, this Shastra is described, the scripture is described. Sankarshana feels there is one mustard seed on my head. That's all he feels, if at all. He feels. So he becomes slightly angry at the end of the duration of this universe. He becomes slightly angry. And when he becomes angry, fire starts emanating from his mouth. That fire becomes, first it is like a small fire. That fire starts becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that fire burns up the whole universe. Each mouth, one big fire. The small fire comes and becomes big. So all the universe are burnt to ashes. By whom? By Sankarshana. But Sankarshana, who is the Supreme Lord himself, one of the expansions of the incarnations of the Lord, he entrusts the secondary part of the destruction to Lord Shiva. So Shiva, the destroyer, is entrusted with that. Similarly, Vishnu also, Kshirodakshayi Vishnu, he entrusts some part of the maintenance to the Devatas. To the Devatas. So like this, the Supreme Lord is involved and not involved. So he is involved in the sense that he himself does part of the, appears to do himself the part of the, a portion of the creation, maintenance, destruction. He is not the creator because everything is carried out by his energies. Everything is carried out by his energies. Three kinds of energies are working. What is that? The first is the spiritual energy, internal energy of Krishna. Internal energy works very mystically. We can't see, we can't understand. Just like Krishna in his form as Mahavishnu is breathing out. He's lying on the causal ocean and he's enjoying what is called as Yoga Nidra. He's enjoying lying down on the causal ocean and he's just relaxing. Sometimes when not at night, daytime, a person wants to relax, will stretch himself, let us say, on a nice easy chair, correct? And then while relaxing, he may doze off. But that is not real sleeping. What is that? That is enjoying, relax. Like that, Prabhupada explains, the Lord is not sleeping. Yoga Nidra, it is this mystic slumber. This is the word Prabhupada uses, Yoga Nidra. Mystic slumber. So he appears to be sleeping, and while he's sleeping, he'll be breathing also. Because he's a real person, living person. So when he breathes out, so many universes come out. This is called Leela. Just by his breathing out, universes come out of his skin holes. And those universes are actually coming out and they are developing as this whole gigantic universe with all the diversity because of the Lord using his spiritual potency to create those universes or generate those universes. The spiritual potency. When he acts, his spiritual energy is doing whatever he appears to be doing. When he empowers some jiva, then it is the jiva who is empowered by Vishnu who apparently is working or acting. Just like Indra kills one Vritrasura. Actually, Indra tried to kill Vritrasura, he could not kill. Then he prayed to Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu empowered him to kill. Vishnu empowered him to kill. Then he killed. So, it is Vishnu's power only, Vishnu's power, which is given to Indra for Indra to kill. So, he empowers and appears to kill through Indra. And then material nature is working. Sometimes some demon will die because there is a big cyclone. Like now modern day demons, how is Krishna killing them? He appears as death, so-called natural death. That death is Krishna only, appearing in the form of death for the demons. For the non-devotees, he appears as death. So he only kills. He only appears as death. And finished. All the demons' atrocities are finished, over. Or through material nature, Krishna kills so many demons. One cyclone, so many demons can be finished instantaneously. One big fire, one tsunami, so many demons. All these petty demons of our present day demons on this earth planet, they talk big, they sometimes display their power, they harass people in so many ways. But in front of tsunami, in front of one earthquake, however powerful he is, however secure he is sitting in one, what is that? Some Z class security, huh? Z category security. Can that Z category security protect him when cyclone comes? When earthquake happens? He makes his house very strong with all kinds of bulletproof, let us say, walls are there. Somebody shoots from outside. It cannot penetrate. But when the earthquake comes, whatever bulletproof arrangement he has made for his building, that building itself will be completely collapsed at the foundation itself, at the root itself. It's finished. Yeah. So, no demon can withstand the fury of nature. Whose nature is this? Who's controlling nature? That is Krishna. Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. So, it is actually the Supreme Lord only who is active. He only is the controller, but he appears to be doing nothing. He appears to be aloof. In the spiritual world, he is completely aloof from this material world. But he appears like that. He is very much within this material world. He is present as Mahavishnu, present as Garbhodakshai Vishnu, is present as Kshirodakshai Vishnu, is present as Paramatma. As Paramatma is entered everybody's heart, every living entity's heart, also is entered into every atom of matter. Now, sometimes when we hear that a tiny atomic particle, when it is split as an atom bomb, split, so much energy is coming out of it. It can destroy a whole city or even the whole planet itself. So how is it that tiny atom, very, very insignificant atom, material atom, matter means dead matter, correct? Matter is dead matter. But how, when that is split, so much energy comes out? The scientists don't think. They don't question this. They simply say atomic energy, atomic energy. Where is this atomic energy? How can so much energy be stored in a small, tiny particle? How small is an atom? It is the smallest thing we can conceive, if at all we try to conceive, correct? And they have experience also. They have done this atomic explosion, correct? They have got no atom bombs, they have. So, how is this quantity of energy stored in that tiny atom, which when split, that energy is released? That is the energy of the Supreme Lord as Paramatma. He has entered into that atom. That is described in the Brahma Samhita. Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham. You see, our scriptures have got logical, factual explanation for everything that is happening, which we cannot understand many times, which we theorize like this, like that, so many speculation. But the facts, the truth, the reality is there in our Shastras. So, it is the inconceivable Supreme Lord as Paramatma. He has entered into every atom. He has entered into everybody's heart. Sometimes some person seems to be able to do so many extraordinary things. Ordinary person, he seems to do extraordinary things. Just like Einstein. He also, when he was born like any other ordinary person, normal person. But he went to college, he studied, and then he started doing research in a laboratory, like so many people do research. But then his research, some very, 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 very fundamental truths were discovered by him. E equal to mc square. That's the basis of understanding in physics of so many concepts, so many truths. One person, Einstein. So Prabhupada says, Einstein's brain we really appreciate. Very, very super intelligent, great brain. But do anybody ask, who's the creator of Einstein's brain? Who's the creator of that brain? How much more greater is he who can create such a brain? Isn't it? So, this is what the Vedanta Sutra is all about. This is what the fundamental portions of the scriptures, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness answers these questions. Einstein's brain is very great. Prabhupada also gives a challenge to the scientists. You say, After all, the source of intelligence is the brain. Can you create another brain like Einstein's brain with all your scientific advancement? Can you create another brain like Einstein's brain? You cannot. So, because the creator of Einstein's brain is the Supreme Lord. And he says that in the Bhagavad Gita. What does he say? Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I give intelligence. I give knowledge. I am seated in your heart. So, Paramatma is sitting in Einstein's heart. He is giving Einstein the knowledge, the understanding. He is giving him the intelligence to analyze, to figure out what is this theory of relativity, how everything is relative, time is relative. So, like that, it is ultimately Krishna who is actually the cause of all causes. Sarva karana karanam. So, in this prayer, when the demigods are assuring Mother Devaki, don't be afraid, because they are in knowledge. Who is that child who is now present in the form of embryo in Devaki's womb? Who is that child? That child is the Supreme Lord Bhagavan. And he is not there alone. He is there with all his plenary portions. With all his plenary portions. That personality of Godhead with all plenary portions is Krishna. Where the plenary portions are plenary portions. Rama is Rama. Narsimha is Narsimha. But Krishna is not just Krishna. He is Krishna, Narsimha, Rama, Varaha. All the energies, the material energy, the whole material creation, all the living entities, they're all within Krishna. Everything is within Krishna. And yet, he has got his personality separate from everything. Separate from everyone and everything. Krishna is simultaneously one with everything and is apart from everything. Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains as the truth or the reality. Simultaneously, Krishna is one with his creation, and Krishna is also separate from his creation as Krishna, the personality of God, simultaneously. So this is the philosophy explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the same thing is explained in the scripture, the same thing is explained by the Vaishnava Acharyas, the same thing. But differently, they present it, so it appears like there are so many philosophies. But the scriptures and the Vaishnava Acharyas, they always explain accurately, perfectly, what is the truth, who is God, who are we, what is our position. Everything is perfectly explained by the Vaishnava scriptures, the Vaishnava Acharyas, the Vaishnava spiritual master, the Vaishnava devotees. Everybody knows, understands, explains the truth. That's how in all these prayers, it is presented by Vyasadeva. The prayers are presented by Vyasadeva in the Bhagavatam, the prayers by the devotees, or the prayers by the devatas, or the prayers by the rishis, the prayers by the saintly persons, because that is the actual truth. That's a perfect factual understanding of reality. So therefore, we should study the Bhagavatam along with the prayers and not just think it is some stories, which is interesting. Others are all some difficult philosophy. No, it's very clearly explained. We understand who is Krishna. Because simply if we understand who is Krishna, immediately we are liberated. Liberated. We are immediately liberated. So that's why we should try to understand. So I'll stop here.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।